Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Too Big to Fit. I'm MacKenzie Morris, and today we are going to talk about personal branding, but not in the way that you usually hear it. So stay tuned. I'm MacKenzie Morris, and after 15 years of building brands, scaling businesses, and creating empires across industries, I have learned that it is not only okay to be uncontainable, it's actually a superpower built within the multi-passionate, the visionaries, and the big dreamers. This is the first multi-dimensional business podcast that mixes strategy, identity, personal stories, conversations, and the messy, unfiltered parts of being a creative to help you build a brand that's impossible to ignore just by being exactly who you are. This is the Too Big to Fit podcast. Okay. Being a personal brand myself, right? That is someone who they themselves are leading their company with personality first, right? You are a personal brand. People work with you. They know you because of who you are and how you show up in the world. Your values, your look, your vibes, your expertise, whatever that is, it's all innately within you. It is what I call your oneness factor, right? The thing that makes you one in a billion, that no one else can copy from you, right? It's your essence, it's your cadence, it's the way that you think, it's all of those things, right? So we're going to talk about that today and how I've kind of navigated it, because over the years I've had a lot of different companies. I have always been an entrepreneur. I have built and grown and scaled and all of those things, right? I started out building a wedding company that just started out with just t-shirts and shot glasses and turned into a full wedding company that was international with products in 47 retailers all around the world, with a trademark, with products being sold on Amazon, and with me designing and manufacturing my own product line overseas. So I've been all over the spectrum. I had a food company at one point called Granada Bites. That was my first company ever that I started when I was 12. And I got an offer from this company called Davidson Industries, and they wanted to work with me and they wanted to help me manufacture my product. But the problem was, being 12, my parents did not want to invest, $10,000 in order to do this manufacturing for this product that they didn't even know how to market, how to sell, how to do any of that, right? So we just didn't, right? And that was kind of the end all be all. Then fast forward like 10 years after that, my mom calls me and she apologizes. She's like, MacKenzie, I have to apologize. I was like, what? She was like, I am in Sprouts and I just found your product on the shelves. Y'all, what a freaking bummer. That really set me off. That was not okay. That was a hard day for me, but it's fine. If people would just listen to me, they can make more money, right? That's where I am now, right? That's what I do now. I help people build businesses and build brands that are impossible to ignore and help them bring in more clients, bring in more revenue, and increase their visibility through mindset and strategy. That is what I do. Is what I'm great at. I always love the build. I have the power of vision. I can see the future. I can see exactly where you say you want to go, and I can see the path to get there, and we can put together a plan to help get you there. There are some things I can help you implement, but a lot of times I can help you outsource, or I can help empower you to go and find your own team, right? And build and scale that way. But that is what I do now. But everything that is the common denominator between all of that is me, right? I am the common denominator from all of the success and everything that I'm doing. And right now, I'm also building a media brand called OKC Nightlife. And just in the past 28 days, I have brought in over 515,000 views. I'm just coming up with these numbers off the cuff. I can't really super remember. But it was like 238,000 people came and looked at my page or something like that, or were looking, and like 108,000 were people who had never seen the post or the page before. So that was bringing in 100,000 new people and new eyes on my content and my stuff, and that was really cool. And throughout this media brand building that I've been doing, it's just given me this totally incredible life that I've always dreamed of, right? I always get to go to concerts and experiences and connect with other local business owners here in Oklahoma City to really highlight and showcase what our town has to offer. But it's funneling into my marketing agency, right? So it's so cool because all of this, the common thread again, is me. But by me showing up authentically and going to concerts and raves and showing the spots that I'm eating at, showing these experiences that we're experiencing. It is also doubling down on the message that you can have fun and freedom and have a life outside of business. You can be a business owner and you can have a lot of fun. You can be an entrepreneur and you can go out and go clubbing. You can be a mom and like to smoke weed on the weekends, right? Like you can do all of those things, right? And still be an incredible dope ass person. And that is my message, right? That is why people like me, in addition to just being a fun ass, badass bitch, right? So, personal branding is a masterclass. But one of the things I heard the other day that really kind of shifted my perspective a little bit was a video I came across from Gary Vee. And he was doing his rant in typical Gary Vee style with like astronomical amounts of F-bombs and stuff like that. I've got some hot tea because I'm so sick, but I'm still here recording. So I'm taking drinks in between here, guys. You're sitting here with me drinking tea. Anyway, Gary Vee was on a rant, and he was talking about how everyone tells you to niche down, and the algorithm wants you to niche down, which is true, right? Building accounts around specific things that are highly hyper-specific is going to be easier for the algorithm to connect with people who care, right? About that thing or that product or you or whatever. But when you are a personal brand, he was talking about how you are the niche. He said, you are the brand, which I've done a keynote on that. And I loved his phrasing right here. He said, you are broad as fuck. And your niche is MacKenzie. And it is a macro niche. Woo! Woo! So good, y'all. So good. Because for years, and one of my coaches was talking about this on our coaching call this week, is I have tried to put myself in some sort of box, right? That's why we're here on Too Big to Fit. I am too big to fit in some sort of box, in some sort of niche. I am a macro niche. Okay? I have all of these interests and things that I love, right? So for me, I don't want to be limited on what I can post. So what Gary Vee was talking about was that you need to post everything. If you're interested in real estate, post about real estate, post about investing, post about what you're eating, post about your kids, post about where you're going, post about everything. Because what it's going to do is it's going to call in the people who like that one thing and they're still going to fall in love with you. Right? Because if you're constantly showing up and showing that you love to run like Jesse Itzler, he's attracting runners. Right? But that's not who, like, his brand. He doesn't own a running company, right? He did host a running marathon, but not the point. He runs other things. He has the big ass calendar, right? He does other things, but people who are runners come to him because they also like to run, right? It's a common thread. It's a common thing, and it's how people can relate to you on a human level. So if I'm showing up and only talking about business, that makes people think I'm only about business. So if they have no business and they can't relate to that, then how are they going to connect with me? They're not, right? Which is why I'm here now today hosting this podcast again. Because I want people to get to know me on a deeper level. I want you to get to know me as MacKenzie and all of the things and the breadth of me and my interests and all of those things as a macro niche, right? So whenever people get to know you along with all the things that you love, that is what's building that brand affinity, that brand loyalty, that connection. To where like, oh my God, I love this person because, wow, they like this stuff and I actually like that stuff too. God, excuse me. It might not be their whole life, but they like it too. And that's going to get them to stay connected to you. It shows that human side of you, right? Because Northern corporations, I'm not selling chicharrones, which I have tried to start a company called Pinky Rancheros. That was going to be the first. It was like chicharitos or whatever it was. The pinwheel Duro wheat snacks. And I was going to be the first brand to sell those inside of Walmart because there still isn't one that are already popped and ready to go. So anyway, I was going to do that. But we're not selling a product, right? Whenever you're selling a product, it's a little bit easier to just be one thing all the time, right? If you go on to social and you see some social pages and they just have that same one video posted 300 times and they have 100,000 followers, it's by sheer volume because they're getting the algorithm trained to know who their person is that will follow this account, and then they're teaching it how to get eyeballs on it. It is quite literally a system. Right? It is volume. And that is a thing that we as personal brands are often missing because one, we think we need to have things new all the time, which we don't, because what are the chances that someone's going to see every single one of your posts? Literally zero, right? No one sees everything, right? Because we're in constant competition with everyone else posting on the internet. But if you can get volume out and maybe post that same video 3 times, and spread it out, that can kind of help increase your reach, right? But that's why a lot of people do ads, because it helps them reach other people in different spaces faster, so that it can kind of automate their marketing so they don't have to do as much on social, because they have people coming in to their funnels on the back end, because they are getting to know them through their lead magnets or their niches or whatever, right? And then once they're in the funnel, then they can kind of get to know you a little bit better, right? You send them to the delivery email and all of that stuff, and then you send the about me, and they can get to know about you. And that's where you can kind of show your heart a little bit about, hey, here's this thing and everything I've done and accomplished, and here are the things that I love, right? And you can kind of separate yourself from that. Or if you are a company or a brand entity, but an organization, this is where you can really highlight your values and showcase what it is that you value that makes you different from the other soda company, right? Because everyone who's in the same industry should be good at their job and should care about customer service and customer experience, right? Those are bare minimums at this point, right? So the only thing that's different is to go and showcase why you're special. And that is the thing. Remember, you are macro niche. So yeah, that's really the conversation. I just loved this whole scenario. And whenever Gary Vee said that you are broad as fuck, I was like, oh, it was so good. And it's still so good. And then you reminded me that MacKenzie, me, myself, and I am a macro niche. And so are you. And so are you, boo! You are a macro niche, you are broad as fuck, and you are the brand. And you don't have to niche down. You can show your interest, and in that, you will build your brand affinity and brand loyalty and brand reputation, because people are going to connect with you on a human level. So this is your permission slip today to showcase something new about yourself. Show something you love. Show a hobby, or show something that you don't typically post on social, and show a new part of yourself. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for this episode. I love you. I'll talk to you next time.